Hello and welcome to our Hogan Lovells video tutorials on digital transformation and law. In this session, we'll explore the essential documentation required to comply with the EU Cyber Resilience Act. As highlighted in our previous videos, the Cyber Resilience Act, or CRA, forms a key piece of the EU cybersecurity legislation by introducing mandatory minimum cybersecurity standards for hardware and software products made available on the EU market. A key pillar of the CRA consists in the implementation of robust documentation. This isn't just administrative paperwork. It's a crucial component for ensuring that digital products comply with the CRA standards and for maintaining transparency with users. In the next minutes, we'll break down the three essential elements of mandatory documentation under the CRA: the EU Declaration of Conformity, the information and instructions for users, and the technical documentation. Let's start with the first essential element, the EU Declaration of Conformity. The EU Declaration of Conformity is a formal statement by the manufacturer or their authorized representative declaring that the relevant product with digital elements meets the applicable requirements of the CRA. Think of it as a type of seal of approval that the product is eligible for distribution on the European market. You'll probably know it from other EU product safety laws, such as the EU Machine Regulation. The Declaration of Conformity should be prepared after the applicable conformity assessment procedure has been completed. For purposes of the CRA, the Declaration of Conformity must include specific information, such as a clear identification of the product, including its name, type, model, and any batch or serial number, as well as the name and address of the manufacturer. There must also be a statement that the EU Declaration of Conformity is issued under the sole responsibility of the provider. Further, the declaration must include references to any relevant harmonized standards or any other common specifications or cybersecurity certifications in relation to which the conformity is declared. Where applicable, the name and ID of the notified body that performed the conformity assessment must also be provided. The declaration ends with the date of issue and the signature of the responsible person. It's important to understand that by issuing this declaration, the manufacturer takes full responsibility for the product's compliance with the CRA. It's a legally binding document that indicates that the product has undergone the necessary checks and meets the required security standards. For the second essential element, we come to the information and instructions to users. The CRA recognizes that user behavior plays a significant role in maintaining cybersecurity. Therefore, manufacturers are obliged to provide clear and accessible information to empower users to choose products with adequate cybersecurity properties and to use their products securely. This includes, for example, contact information of the manufacturer, including on the designated point of contact where users can report vulnerabilities of the product. This should include a postal address and an email address or other digital contact information, as well as a website where available. Further, there should be a clear description of the product's purpose, its functionalities, and security properties, as well as circumstances that may lead to significant cybersecurity risks. It's also needed to provide detailed instructions for the safe and secure use of the product, covering the initial setup, configuration, and operation of the product, as well as the installation of security updates. And since the CRA requires manufacturers to provide a mandatory support period, users must also be informed about the type and duration of technical support offered for the product. This information should be provided in a language easily understood by end users in the relevant EU member states where the product is made available. It can be in physical or digital format, but it must be readily accessible and easy to follow. Finally, the third essential element is the technical documentation. Think of this as the detailed blueprint of a digital product. It needs to provide a comprehensive understanding of the product's design, development, and operation. This includes information such as a general description of the product and the procedures applied for the product design, development, and production, as well as for vulnerability handling. As a key element, the documentation must also include the mandatory risk assessment performed to identify potential cybersecurity risks associated with the product and appropriate mitigation measures. Further, the names of the harmonized standards, common specifications, or cybersecurity certification schemes applied to assess conformity, and the reports of tests that were performed to verify compliance with the CRA's essential requirements. Also, other documentation prepared for CRA compliance should be included, such as the software bill of materials. While the EU Declaration of Conformity and the information and instructions to users must be provided with the product, there is no requirement to publish the technical documentation. Instead, the technical documentation must only be made available to the competent market surveillance authority on request. Manufacturers must keep all 3 elements of the documentation for at least 10 years after the product has been placed on the European market, or for the duration of the support period, whichever period is longer. Failure to comply with these documentation requirements can lead to significant penalties. This includes fines and the prohibition of placing the product on the European market. Therefore, it's crucial for manufacturers to understand these obligations and to implement robust processes to ensure full compliance. If you want to learn more about the EU Cyber Resilience Act, check out our other videos in our Digital Transformation Academy website, linked below. As always, thanks for checking in and see you in our next video.